Obviously, let's get this out of the way right away, because I know it's just redundant and probably go nuts when you hear people saying, please talk about something else, but just to introduce you, you're Eddie Munster.
I am.
And no need.
The original.
And that's it, the interview's over. This happened at age 7, and that's not easy for anyone to do. And a lot of people, when they start young, oftentimes will go off the track or will have problems in their life. And you may have had some issues, but you look pretty good to me.
Oh, thank you.
And you're still out there doing stuff, and you have a great attitude, so you survived this.
Yeah, I did. I started acting when I was 7. I did the Munsters when I was 11 and 12. It was my 3rd series. But in the 60s, in the late 60s, early 70s, it was acceptable behavior in Hollywood to be partying, and some people did, some people didn't. I did it for 41 years, actually. Yeah. But I kept it together. I mean, I was a functioning alcoholic drug addict. And now, next month will be 8 years sober, and it's funny, Dave Faustino, my friend, Bud Bundy, said you look younger than you did 10 years ago, so I was happy to hear that. And I survived, so.
Good eating, really, just get a dog. Yeah. That's what they say, right?
Get a dog? I got married. Got married, bought a house, became responsible.
Yeah. Well, let's get on you. Now, I wanted to briefly rattle these off because this impressed the hell out of me, because I try to do research, so I'm not like, hey, what's it like on Munsters? I want to ask you more detail than that. You've been on, okay, this is just nuts. Ben Casey, Alcoa Premiere, Bonanza, My Favorite Martian, Mr. Ed, Rawhide, and honestly, the Real McCoys, General Hospital even, I Dream of Jeannie, Gunsmoke, the Monkees, Daniel Boone, Adam 12, My 3 Sons. Like, it's probably easier to name shows that you haven't been on than to name shows you have been on. So you got an impressive CV. I mean, you got really famous doing one thing, but you carried it forward and you worked the hell out of your career, and it's nice to see that. Some people they'll do a lot of great things, or they'll do something in a short period of time and then they'll never go back. And you kind of stuck with it over the years, and I actually wanted to know if this is kind of a more emotional subject, but my father actually passed away from the kind of cancer that you actually
prostate.
Fought off.
Prostate, yeah.
And I read something you said about I did the wrong thing for like 40 years, and then when I changed my life around and did the right thing, God smites me or something. And I'm like, it's just, I like meeting survivors of what my dad didn't survive, because it's the luck of the draw, and if you catch it early, like you said, life goes on.
The irony of it was I'd been sober about a year, and luckily for me, had I not gotten sober, I certainly wouldn't have addressed the issue properly, and I would have just let it go and let it kill me. But in treatment where I was at, I happened to be in there with a doctor who was a world-class doctor for another situation. Yeah. He put me in touch with his, he likes to call them his rock star ninja doctor buddies. They fast-tracked me into surgery, and luckily they caught it right in time, so I guess it was just meant to be.
Well, it kind of means something to me. Like, I perk up when I hear that information, because anything that personally touches your life, you're like, you have a radar, like you instantly know it. Like you can see 1,000 words, and if one of them is pancreatic cancer, like you just know subconsciously, it pulls you in. And this is actually something a lot of actors, moving on from that very emotional subject, a lot of actors I found, and this is kind of I guess it goes to the territory, act. And a lot of them are drawn into music. It's almost like there's a other side of the coin. So many actors are musicians, and so many musicians become actors. And you play a pretty interesting mix, I think. Bit of rock, bit of country, or something like that.
I'll tell you the wrinkle on that one. When I did Lidsville, which was another series for Sid and Marty Krofft in the summer of '71, Metro Media Records had just let Bobby Sherman go, and this was teeny bop, bubblegum music, David Cassidy, Donny Osmond, Michael Jackson. Well, not Michael Jackson, but anyway, teeny bop stuff.
I get you, yeah.
But they wanted to create another Bobby Sherman, and they contacted me regarding because I was in the Teeny Bop magazine. So I told them I don't sing. They go, it doesn't matter. So we actually got a record deal with Metro Media. Sugarloaf, which was a very popular, rock and roll band, was hired to be my backup band, and we went into the studio where I was the original Milli Vanilli. I like to say Munster Manilli, because I didn't sing, but yet I was on American Bandstand touring around the country, playing rock star, great time. But we never performed live because I couldn't sing. So here, lo and behold, 10 years later, MTV comes on the air, and we do Whatever Happened to Eddie, which is the first unsigned act video ever to be on MTV. I didn't sing on that one either. But I took it one level further. I even faked the bass. But I did write the lyrics. So there's interesting ways. What I'm getting at is, as much as I like music and I love going to concerts, I wish I had some musical talent, but I don't. But we faked it really well. And we actually did some good for some unsigned acts that got some exposure from the Basement Tapes TV show, which they started after they saw us go on MTV without a record deal.
Yeah, I'm honestly, people are often hardest on themselves than anybody else would be to you. But it's you follow your heart, and you have, and you actually you're kind of inspirational because you've done a lot more in the early part of your life than I've done and I probably will ever do. So you're workaholic, I think. I actually wanted to touch base real briefly because we're going to wrap this up soon.
Yeah.
I know your festival's closing around us.
Yeah, I know.
You have done some really awesome cameos, and I love when people poke themselves or self-deprecate. The Simpsons was nice.
Yeah.
That was a nice one. You probably bothered about that one a lot. Even the one you did, Dickie Roberts.
Dickie Roberts.
That was pretty nice too.
Making fun of yourself, of course. Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody else today about that. So I can't remember who it was, but we're talking. One of the people I interviewed, one of your colleagues here, about the same idea, of making fun of yourself. I think it was Lipnicki.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was. We had a laugh about that. Well, listen. What's next? You have something you want to plug? Anything you want to tell us about a future plan, or what's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, interesting enough, about 30 years ago, TBS, Al Lewis had a show on TBS called Super Scary Saturday.
Okay.
And everybody always talks about horror movies and, horror host guests and this and that. The gentleman that produced that contacted me last year, and he basically wanted to resurrect a Munster hosting the bad monster movie situation. But we decided to go with a live stream, which is modern technology, called Eddie's Monstrous Movie Mausoleum, where the bottom line is I'm not Al Lewis and I'm not Grandpa, but I can host a show. The premise will be that I inherited the casket company of Gateman Goodberry and Graves, which was their Herman work. So we have a little bit of a twist with the Munsters, but the bottom line is I'm going to host a monster movie show and have guest stars each week that will be the comic relief. I'll be the straight man. They will be the horror hosts of which I interact with them and host the movie. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's going to be fun. I tour the country with my Munster Coach and Dragula, tribute vehicles that I own, and I have owned for the last 3 or 4 years. I'm a gearhead, a member of a car club. So automotive events is where I'm the most comfortable.
Yeah.
Conventions like this are great, but with a 32-foot trailer and a 30 by 30-foot spot, a lot of times the conventions can't really make space for you.
Yeah.
Where racetracks have unlimited space.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy doing. And if you want to go to the Facebook page and like it, we'll be on next year. That's Eddie's Monstrous Movie Mausoleum. And you can always go to munsters.com and see all my scheduling and everything else that goes along with it.
Okay. I love classic. I actually, oftentimes I'll attend and go and photograph those things. We had a classic air rally where I'm from. It was just basically static displays of like antique or war planes, and they had on the side they had military vehicles from the past. They had like cool cars.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for that stuff, and you go and have a good conversation. And it's like a cookout sometimes, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons we bring so much stuff to the table, because we now travel with a huge amount of space to be available, so we can bring the shirts, the books, the keys, all the stuff that the other celebrities usually don't have on the table.
Yeah.
We bring literally a store with us. So.
Convention store right here.
We love it. Yeah.
Well, listen. You know what? You were very generous, and you came back. Your handler actually let me. She said, "Well, we're
That's
here
also
for half
my
an
wife.
hour." Oh, okay. Well, she's also your
My
handler.
handler.
That's a perfect title. Listen, thank you so much
You're
for taking the time again. You didn't have to do it, and I really appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you for watching the Convention Junkies coverage of the 2018 Hamilton Comic Con. Please like, comment and subscribe to see more, and let us know below what you think of this video. If you would like to help us with future projects, please visit our Patreon page.